So first of all, when you get the brand and the offer in the right place and they're super clear and you test it out, you can test out in the market. So let's say you do it on your Facebook personal profile. Let's say you have a Facebook group. If not, the second best time is now or today when you're listening to this, and grow that Facebook group. And you can ask your audience who are coming in from a cold audience to they're interested in what you have to offer, which is why they joined your Facebook group. From there, you can ask three membership questions in the Facebook group and you can extract that data. How you ask those questions is another NinjaFi level, basically to uh, determine where they are in their business and in their budget.
Hello, my loves, and welcome to Create Your Life. My name is Simone Leah, and I am your host. And I am so excited to be here with you guys today because today I had the absolute pleasure of talking to Jay Lee, who is known as the Sales Ninja. Now, our conversation today was about becoming a sales ninja in 2024. What's working in high ticket sales for coaches and consultants? And this conversation did not disappoint. So, Jay's really an expert on anything that comes to sales, setting, closing, communicating. He's really an authority in this field if you want to be making more sales in your business. So, today's conversation is not one to be missed, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Hello and welcome to Create Your Life. My name is Simone Leah and I am your host, and I am so excited to be here today with Jay Lee, who is the Sales Ninja, because we are going to be talking about how you can become a sales ninja in 2024. What's working in high ticket sales for coaches and consultants? Hey Jay, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me, Simone.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much for being here. I'm super excited to jump into this topic because I feel like people stumble around in how to get clients online. Like, do you build a following? Do you start a Facebook group? Do you pay for ads? I feel like this is something people really stumble around in. So I'm dying to jump into this with you. But I do want to start with the age-old question for the show of what does creating a life you love look like to you?
That's a great question. Growing up, I was an introvert, and also I ended up going into banking. And then fast forward, I was a pastor for 10 years. So it's kind of like an awkward, eclectic mix of this introvert. I eventually became an extrovert at the age of 18, and that's literally a miracle of God. And then I ended up going into a space that I didn't think I would go, which is banking. My parents had three dreams for me: to be a dentist, doctor, or lawyer. It was already prophesied and preset before I was born. Typical Asian parents. And growing up in a performance-driven family that expected a lot. For example, if you got 96%, where's the other 4%? So constantly trying to please my parents and trying to find approval was kind of like an uphill battle. And then pivoting from pastoring into high ticket sales and closing six-figure months and $1 million in 12 weeks was a huge surprise. So the what does a life that you love look like? I didn't know at the time, but now a life that I love is really about family and friends and my faith, the three F's: family, friends, and faith, and being able to have the flexibility and the finance and the freedom. That's six F's for you. I'm a pastor, so I'm going to give you the six F sermon. And that's been really a answered prayer that I haven't been able to see in like 15 years. I didn't even think it was a possibility because I didn't know beyond what life I could have because my limited resources and my limited finances, and in fact, my poverty and scarcity mindset didn't allow me to dream, let alone create a life that I thought was possible.
Mhm. I love all of this. Your story is amazing. Like, what a cool story. I'd even love to spend time talking about how you went from a pastor to sales and
Yeah,
online business stuff.
sure.
That is super cool. How did you make that flip? We'll just do a quick segue into that because I'm so
Yeah,
curious.
the short version of it is I as a missionary, when you are in pastoring and you're a missionary, you get what's called quote unquote missionary support. So I would have to call on people and ask them to engage and also partner in the work that I was doing for missionary support, to help feed the poor, to help build churches, to help do water wells, et cetera, et cetera. So as someone who was getting sponsored or getting support, that money dwindled down to $1,000 a month. And living in Toronto, Canada, especially, I can imagine where you are in Australia, the living costs kept on soaring, inflation, mortgage rates, housing prices. Like the average house here for a three-bedroom bungalow that needs to be rebuilt is like $1.3 million for a 60-year-old house that needs to be rebuilt. And then a two-story is like 3 to 5 million. It's ridiculous how expensive it is here in Toronto. So I did what I thought was best, was down to $1,000 in my missionary support. I thought if I get a newspaper route, I can help, feed my kids and put money in the bank and food on the table. And I got an extra whopping $100 a month to do my newspaper route. So $1,100 didn't cut it. And I basically looked at an ad of a business growth consultant. I think he was driving a Lamborghini. So it caught my eye. I got suckered to good marketing. And then I thought, let me send him a LinkedIn personalized video and saying, I have no idea how you're doing what you're doing, but it seems like you're successful. And there's no reason why you should listen to me, because I am a pastor and I don't know anything about the business growth space. But I can bet on it that if you hire me and help me to become your right hand man to help you continue in your success, then I guarantee that you won't regret your decision. Plus, you don't have to pay me.
Oh, I love
So,
that. That's so amazing. And that's how you got started.
so every single opportunity, position, closer, position that I've gotten, I bypassed the application process. That typically is a application process and 1 to 3 interviews and then a test. So every single opportunity has been either through referral, word of mouth, or this outbound video personalization. And so he got in a call with me. He's like, "You've got a lot of balls for a pastor, and let's put your money where your mouth is. So I want you to come to my." I didn't know he was in Toronto. I thought it was remote. He says, "Come to my penthouse suite tomorrow at downtown Toronto." And I was a bit scared because I'm like, am I gonna get kidnapped? Am I gonna get dismembered? Like, so I said to my wife, I said, if I don't make it back, in 8 hours, just put on my epitaph, my tombstone, 2 words: loved much, right? Because I didn't know if I was gonna come back. Honestly, it's a weird thing. And then I go, and then he meets me at the concierge. He's wearing like this Hugh Hefner robe with Gucci shoes, right? I'm just like, what on earth am I getting myself into? And that company ended up scaling from 0 to 16 million in 29 months.
Wow, that is phenomenal. That is, how did you learn sales?
Uh, I think I stumbled my way into it. Like it's pure desperation and grit, which is like the marriage of passion and perseverance.
Yeah,
Because I was so hungry and I was self motivated, it was really, how can I provide and put food on the table for my wife and kids?
yeah,
How can I, not lose my house?
yeah.
So I was willing to learn anything. That's why whether it was, pastoring, missionary, newspaper route, I did warehouse work for 7 years in my university years. So I would just do anything that I could to make money and not realize that I was trading time for dollars. And then when I went into the high ticket sales space, and then now in the coaching of high ticket sales, that I no longer need to trade time for dollars, but I can create a life that I actually love, which is what I'm living now.
Ah, I love that so much. This is an amazing story. And I love that you bring up high ticket sales because that leads straight into obviously today's topic. So,
Yeah.
if someone is like a coach or a consultant, what is high ticket sales and how can they get into that? Like, I obviously understand, they'll have a high ticket offer, it might be like 5 to 10K offer. How can they actually put that in front of people and sell that?
Yeah, so there's two sides of it. There's the high ticket sales closer. They call them closers in this space. And then there's the high ticket coach who is offering the actual service, product, coaching program. Typically in the high ticket space that I'm familiar with, the minimum high ticket pricing starts at three, maybe 2,500 on the very, very low end, to 5,000. $5 to $10,000 is where I think, it's going to get going to. So you're definitely ahead of your time, which is good. So 3 to 5K is a starting point, and then 5 to 10 and above, there are ticket prices that are 25, 50, 100. $1,000 and more, which I've had the opportunity of selling at all spectrums, because I was an enterprise software sales director that was selling anywhere from 150,000 to $1.5 million offers to government and higher education. And then when I got into the high ticket coaching space, I was selling anywhere from 3,000. And typically, what I do have been able to do is double, triple the value and the price by offer stacking the coaches or the founders coaching offers, and basically said, I think I can take your $3,000 offer and sell it for 10. They're like, we can't even sell it for 3. And then I said, let me try. And so I would basically put up a slide deck, offer stack, and then I would one call close $10,000 deals left, right, and center. They've never gotten paid in fulls. They never got it closed at 3 times the value. And so you can see how through that one price structure alone, the companies were able to scale quickly into the millions, from $10,000 months, $100,000 months, as far as even $1 million months. So yeah, how do they get into the high ticket sales space? They need to acquire skill. There's some people don't require any skill set, but there are pros and cons to that. The pro is you're hungry and you're willing to learn anything, and if you're desperate, you can do very, very well, even if you don't have a background. The con is you may not be suited for sales because, personality, commitment, focus, discipline. There's a lot of things like when I look at sales, I think of sales closers or high ticket closers as elite athletes. They have to show up as their best self. They need to show up with, as much sleep and energy. There's been situations where I've been in sales teams where there's 50 to 100 people. And most of us had, I'm not wearing it right now because it's charging. We had Aura rings. Aura rings are basically smart rings, and they give you your ready and sleep score. So we had to track down in a spreadsheet our daily ready and sleep scores, and then what time we went to sleep, what time we woke up. It sounds pretty malicious or militant, but I think there is some genius to it, in the sense of, like, you need to be primed and pumped and ready to go when you are on sales calls. If you have like 5 to 8 to 12 calls per day and you don't have the energy, there's no way you're going to be able to enlist enrolled people or close sales. I want to change that language because it sounds like it's a person is a means to an end, and that's not what I mean. The heart of it is, people say that's what we do, we close sales, but what we're doing is we're enrolling clients and we're transforming lives, and the term that is recognized is closing sales. So they can enter into that space by getting into network groups or Facebook groups that say they're high ticket closing opportunities. And then there's a whole application process that requires either a Google form and 1 to 3 interviews and then testing. And then after that, you may be one of 5 closers in the what we call a internship, or what do they call it? It's basically a 30-day trial. And so they may say, out of the 5 people, Simone, only the top performer is going to stay here, and then the other 4 have to leave. So it's a pretty cutthroat industry where they only want the best people for the reason of growing and scaling businesses.
Yeah. No, I love that. That's so interesting. Now, if I was a coach or a consultant and I have my high ticket offer, how can I get that in front of people? Like, what's working in 2024? You've got the build a Facebook group, sell to that. You've got the go and get yourself a closer and a setter and they'll do it for you. You've got the paid advertising. You've got cold DMing. What is it that people, if they're being coaches and consultants, how are they getting this offer in front of people?
Yeah, great question. So there's a lot of variables that are in that question. First of all, I actually just launched a Sales Ninja dual closer apprenticeship. Solopreneurs and coaches, their biggest problem are they're looking for setters and they're looking for closers. I train Sales Ninjas on how to do both. So you get the both in one. So you get the dual closer, and I'm training them in a 30-day cohort where they get 100 hours of training. I already have 5 7-figure entrepreneurs that are saying, we are launching next week. Can you give us your Sales Ninja certified dual closers? I'm like, I haven't finished training them. Give me 30 days. And one of the guys that I'm training, he's only 15 days in, and he already is helping a real estate coach on another closing opportunity that I've introduced him to, where she's scaling beyond $50,000 to $75,000 a month, which is great. So to answer your question, if you're a high ticket coach, and how do you grow and scale your business with all these things. Um, the setter and closer is not important in the very beginning. Okay, I'll bring them, introduce them into the story. But when we set the scene, we're coming to Christmas, the nativity scene of the high ticket coaching space is the most important thing, I believe, is your brand. Okay. So we can do the inputs, we can do the outputs, we can do the cold DM, we can do the Facebook groups, we can do the, prospecting, we can do the email outreach, we can do the organic mastery, we can do the paid ads. All those things don't matter if your offer and your brand are not in place first. It's like building a house on a sandy land, and then after 3 or 4 stories, realizing that you didn't build it on a firm foundation and it collapses. So the brand, and also uh, the the brand that you're working on is so important, because who are you? What do you stand for? What are some of the things that people can understand of who you are and what you offer to people? So that leads to number one, the brand. Number two is the organic mastery. A lot of people try to jump to paid ads. I have several clients that just came on board. They've been spending thousands of dollars in the last 9 to 12 months. They've gotten some leads, but zero sales. And like I shared with you before this call, the reason why most of them are not getting the results is because they haven't figured out the brand and they haven't figured out their offer. And once you get brand clarity and offer clarity, you can go to town to test it, get that proof of concept, product market fit, market message resonance, get your first few clients, whether it's low ticket, whether it's free, whether it's high ticket, whatever price point matches the market. Give them amazing results, amazing value, over deliver, under promise, get case studies, get video testimonials, and then continue to increase your price from, like, let's say, 2,500 to 3,000, 3,000 to 3,500, and increase it, let's say $500 every month or every quarter. And that's exactly what I'm doing with one of my apprenticeship beta offers. We closed it at 76%, 92% cash collected, and we sold out in 14 days. And now we have a wait list. So I'm sharing with what real, not I hear this happens or conceptually, is make sure that your brand, so mine is Sales Ninja, sell more, give more. The offer is clear. I help you to become a setter and closer, and you can earn dual commissions and earn uncapped commissions, and you get to earn while you learn. That's basically the gist of the apprenticeship. So people went bonkers with that offer and came in, and now there's a waiting list of people already buying for the next cohort. And then the organic mastery, which is step two from the brand offer. Organic mastery is funneling free traffic from your content, your stories, your reels into a free Facebook group. But it's got to be where your audience is. If your audience is in LinkedIn, it's not going to work. Okay, so there's another strategy for LinkedIn, but the principles are the same. Is funnel free traffic. You can funnel in LinkedIn to a newsletter or to an email list. But in the Facebook space, which is the domain that I operate in, is taking the content and calling them to action to a free Facebook group, and then nurturing and engaging with that community. And then that leads to giving first and getting them on a call. And I always say, ABC, always be closing. If you're not able to close, ABC is always book calls. So let's say you come to the call and I do a Sales Ninja audit by giving you a gift of, this is how you can grow your business by $10,000 to $100,000 a month that you're leaving on the table. I do a free discovery call. We call it Disco call in the high coaching sales space. Disco is discovery. And let's say, the purpose of it is not to close you or to sell you. It's like, let me find $10,000 to $100,000 a month that you're leaving on the table. Here are 3 strategies. Boom, boom, boom. And you're like, whoa, that was amazing. Typically, people will be like, you giving me more information or more transformation in the 20 minutes than I have in the last 12 months with 3 coaches that I hired. Can I learn more about your program? And I'm like, I've got another Sales Ninja audit call right now. Does Friday next week work for you, or does tomorrow at 2 p.m.? So I give them options. If I have space, then I'll take them on that call. And then the third part is, after you get them on the call and add so much value, I sell without selling, and I make a sale without asking for the sale. Is because I've given first, I delivered so much value that they know I'm authoritative expert. They're confident in their ability to get the results that they want to grow their business, and they like me. They're emotional buyers, so people buy from people that they like. So that was the whole quick version of how to become a sales ninja in 2024.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. So I think a lot of people, when they're first starting, they're like, okay, well, where do I get this traffic from? Do I do cold DMing? Do I post in Facebook, other Facebook groups, my free product, in 50 different Facebook groups and draw them into the funnel that way? So yeah, what are your thoughts on those sort of things to either use cold leads or warm leads, or what should a new coach or someone who's trying to get leads start doing?
Yeah, there's a lot of different ideas. So first of all, when you get the brand and the offer in the right place and they're super clear and you test it out, you can test out in the market. So let's say you do it on your Facebook personal profile. Let's say you have a Facebook group. If not, the second best time is now or today when you're listening to this, and grow that Facebook group. And you can ask your audience who are coming in from a cold audience to they're interested in what you have to offer, which is why they joined your Facebook group. From there, you can ask 3 membership questions in the Facebook group and you can extract that data. How you ask those questions is another Ninjafy level, basically to uh, determine where they are in their business and in their budget. That's one question. Number two is getting their emails in exchange for a gift that you can give them, a lead magnet, a free video, a PDF cheat sheet, a sales tracker, whatever it is that you do. And then three is on the third membership question, you can ask them, we're offering a complimentary Sales Ninja audit call to help you find $10,000 to $100,000 a month that you're leaving on the table. Would you like to have this chat or this call, or would you like to remain stuck and broke? I mean, that's just a joke, right? And I'd say like 90% of people give us their emails, and 90% of them give us the permission to book a call with them. So because my Facebook group now has grown from 0 to 1,000 in about 12 months, we get, I don't know, hundreds of leads, or like at least lots of leads each month. I think our group is growing up by 100 to 150 each month. So there's a lot of leads, and there's a lot of people that want to get on a call. There's a lot of people that want to receive these gifts. So part of it is letting people, and this reinforces your offer and your brand, because now people know that you're here to give, you're here to serve, you're here to provide like authentic help to people. And a lot of people are not doing that. A lot of people are not going to the trouble of doing that. So organic mastery can include the content, have a content strategy. So you can leverage ChatGPT, the free version, and say, ChatGPT, create 12 months of content for Simone, and this is my brand, this is my offer. These are things that you should avoid saying. These are things that you should include. This is some bits and pieces of my offer. Here's some of my client results that I've actually gotten, and put it into a 5-day a week for 52 weeks chart format with the subject header, the hook, and the video description that shows me what I should say in within a 60-second reel. And you'll be surprised, ChatGPT will come up with a chart format, give you 12 months of content, 5 days a week, right? And it'll have a call to action. It'll have a hook that says, these are the 3 secrets of how you can sell more to give more. Number 1, and then it'll give you the points, 2, 3, and you can refine it. So that's content strategy. Don't just do content, and don't just haphazardly just put together on the fly. The people that I know that are doing multi 7, 8, 9 figures in their business, they'll block out, let's say, 5 to 8 hours. Maybe every Monday is Media Mondays, and they'll, whether it's a film crew, which many of us are not at, but they'll take their iPhone or their Android or their just DSLR or whatever they've got, webcam. It doesn't matter what. You don't have to have all these amazing things. Start with what you have. Be faithful with little, entrusted with much, and then just start recording. Block out time. Block out hours of time. So I was doing it by myself. Now I have a videographer. He comes to my house every other Fridays, and we record anywhere from 4 to 8 hours in blocks so that we can have 3 to 6 months of content available. So that's one thing. Content strategy. Joint ventures and collaborations, right? So let's say you have a pretty big email list of people in Australia where I don't know anyone there. And I say, hey, if we do a joint venture or a collaboration where, I get to email your list, let's share the profits, right? Let's say I give you 50-50. So let's say, my coaching package is $10,000. Any lead that comes in from your email list that closes, I'll give you $5,000. You're like, that's $5,000 I never would have made anyways,
Mhm.
right? And then the last thing is getting on stage, whether it's virtual, in person, live summits, podcasts, masterminds, free Facebook groups. So if I said to maybe even you and your audience or someone else, and I would say something like, how many of you guys would like to interview a former introvert pastor who turned to a high ticket 7-figure sales ninja? 100% of the time, I gotten people say yes to me. And then the second thing I could say is, how many of you guys would like to learn how I closed $1 million in 12 weeks part-time with the reverse glass selling method, and how you can too? Would you be open to having me teach this in your Facebook group? 100% yes.
Yeah. I
So that's
love
how you
all of
build
this.
exposure.
Yeah, I love this. I love this. So that also brings into the question of if you're a coach and consultant, how much time should you spend being everywhere and how much time like there's obviously the rule of 80% marketing, 20% actually like, doing the thing. And I guess when it comes down to what we're talking about here, which is getting out there and doing that, do you go omnipresent on all platforms and you're on LinkedIn, you've got content on TikTok, you've got content on Facebook, and then you every day you're posting in all the groups? And I'd love to know a little bit more about your thoughts on that, and then what the time allocation should be for coaches and consultants.
Yeah. So that's a great question. One offer, one price, one platform. Okay. Until you master that and you're growing, beyond, let's say, 25, $50,000 months, just stick to one. If you're not able to hit those milestone markers, hire someone, hire a coach to help you do that. And it may be like the new client that just onboarded today, that the offer was completely off. She spent thousands of dollars in paid ads. She spent years with different coaches, multiple coaches, and they weren't able to help her discern that her offer was not right. So anyway, so that's where one offer is important, one price, and then one platform. So pick the choice of platform where your audience is. So you might prefer one and your audience is another. So do you market to people where your audience is not because you like it, or do you go where you don't like but where your audience is? I would say go where your audience is even if you don't like it. Okay. Time allocation wise, that's a tricky one. The simple version of it is wake up earlier, make sure you're healthy and working out every day if possible. And then input and output is the backdrop. How much you put in is how much you get out. Obviously, you don't want to burn out. You want to spend time with your family, your friends, your faith, and all those things. So make sure you set, like, right after this call, I'm going to coach volleyball. So I set and block off my calendar for things that are important to me. So I coach volleyball 3 times a week because I take afternoons off because I have the flexibility in finance and I'm living the life that I love. Teaching podcast. And the time allocation is what is the most important to you. So family, friends, and faith are most important to me. So I allocate that first. And then what do I look at in my business is what are some important money making activities. So I mentioned Monday, all day from 8 to 6 is money making activities that will really literally move the needle in my business to help grow and scale it. And then I have times where I have like outreach. Let's say I have like an hour or two of outreach every single morning from 8 to 9 a.m. or 8 to 10 a.m. And then I leave the rest of the time for sales calls. So let's say from 11 to 6 I've got sales calls, and I've got a high close rate, so I'm closing at 76%. So a lot of clients are coming in, and then I have to fulfill and deliver as a coach. So now I've got 4 classes that I'm teaching in, right? So I've got a lot of time and energy to help people get the results that they're looking for. So whatever can help you hit the priorities that you're reaching. But if your priorities are not helping you make the money, then you'll need to decrease your priorities, because if you're spending all the time with your family and friends and your faith, and it's not helping you pay the bills, then that priority is not in the right place. So I'm making sure that I'm able to fund to help get the flexibility for my family, friends, and my faith.
Mm. I love that. Thank you. That sounds like, yeah, I love the way you say that, that it's about having what's the top priority and making sure that you're allowing time to move that needle forward. Now, with outreach, is that generally cold outreach or warm outreach?
It depends on where you're starting. If you already have a audience and if you already have followers, then the warmer, the better. And if you're starting out from scratch and you have no audience or very little followers, it's going to be an uphill battle where you're going to have to learn how to do outreach, cold prospecting, cold emails, cold DMs, cold messengers, which is called push marketing. Pull marketing is what I said before, and I'll say it again, is when you get your brand right, when you get your offer right, and you test it even with a small cohort, and you get that proof of concept and you get amazing results. The beauty of that is you don't have to push anymore. You can pull, because now you have, let's say, out of my 15 apprentices, every single day they're putting a video and they're like, I've been in the space for years and I learned so much today, I am blown away. And then they're like telling their friends. So now you have all these evangelical advocates of Simone's who say, instead of me doing 100 outreaches and me doing all these, outreaches and trying to get all these different people, when you build your brand properly and you get brand advocates, they will vouch for you. And then instead of you doing, 100 outreaches, you have, 10 people that are doing, 100 outreaches. So now you've exponentially multiplied your reach because they have a network and net worth that you and I don't have.
I love this. I do have a couple more questions that kind of funnel into this a little bit in terms of if you are selling that one offer repeatedly, is that a one-on-one offer or is it a group offer? And because if you're selling it one-on-one, just one-on-ones, at some point you're going to run out of timing. But if that's your one offer, when do you know when to go to that next offer? And if you are in the beginning phases, when do you know when to bring in your setters and your closers to do all that for you?
Great question. So I don't recommend at all one-on-one unless you're trying to get case studies. And even still, I wouldn't recommend one-to-one. There's some niches and occupations and coaching programs on exception basis that do require that. I'm just trying to think of some right now, but there's some sort of like mental health or like, you can't, it's going to be very hard in a group setting to like everyone share their private stories and the confidential, hurt, harm, trauma. Those are exceptions, but for the most part, you can literally go from a one-on-one, which is like, a personal fitness trainer is one-on-one in the gym, to a one-to-many, which is you can train either people looking to get in shape, or you can train online fitness trainers to get online. And you can have, 10, 50, 100 people in the virtual room, and that's what I've done. I've actually never done one-on-one. I've actually done a beta cohort where I launched, 10, 15, 20 people at a time. And that's what I've done through and through. And I did it this time. I did it last time. I did it when I first started. Because think about it, if you have 20 people that you're helping and you're spending 2 hours with them, every single week, that's 40 hours, not including lunch, pee breaks, and all that stuff. But if you have 20 people in one room and you spend 2 hours with them and you can provide them as much value or even more because they're learning from each other, which is what I find is very like people in my masterminds and my apprenticeship right now, they say things like, I've never been in such an amazing community. Like the mastermind is like a group of people who really love and want to serve each other. So if people are selling one-on-one, the way to grow and scale that is one-to-many. It's impossible to grow and scale a one-on-one. When do you switch and transition to setters and closers? I would say when you have proven that it is working, your coaching offer, and that you are selling beyond what you can handle, and your calendar is more than you could handle. And if you're looking at growing, if you have the money, but you don't have the appointments, that's where you can also bring on an appointment setter where they can help fill your calendar or fill their calendar. So it's kind of a tricky question, but the short of it is it depends the simple answer is, let's say you're making 25 to $50,000 a month, and your calendar still has some space as the founder, but you don't want to do it anymore. You want to just deliver and fulfill. And so that's when you can hire an appointment setter so that they can take the calls. They can get a setter. Sorry, the setter can set it for the closer, so the closer can close. Or you can have a setter that does close, like the dual closer, which is what I'm doing. My setter closes, so he gets double commissions and he earns way more. And I taught him how to close at a very, very high rate. So when you have either the cash flow to afford to buy back your time, or when you cannot afford to take the time to take the calls, that's when you can bring in the setters and closers.
Yes, totally love all of this. And I think it's interesting that you're saying you never even started with the one-on-ones, because I think that's where a lot of coaches and consultants they do start and then they transition to groups. Whereas you're like, no, start with groups, start there. So I love that because that's something probably a lot of people on the podcast probably haven't heard, because it's not a talked about thing.
Well, I think it's like think smarter, not fast. Work smarter, not faster. And
Mm.
so if I was to do one-on-one, and let's say, I don't know, I charge 1,000, I only charged $500 because I didn't have any confidence in myself. If I did one-on-one, it would take me a lot of people to get and a lot of time. But I was able to do a $0 to $64,000 launch in 30 days without knowing what I was doing. And then with this brand new offer within 14 days, it was a $30,000 revenue, because I was able to do it in a group cohort. And if I did it one-on-one, I wouldn't have time to be on this call with you. I wouldn't have time to teach or fulfill. I wouldn't have time to onboard people. So you have to learn how to buy your time back, because your time is your most valuable asset. And the more time you can have to do what you desire to do, love to do, dream of doing. At the end of the day, my dream is not having to do any of these things: systems, automations, finance, setting, closing, content creation, all that stuff. I know there I have to have my hand in the very beginning and do the hard work, which is what I'm doing. But I want to have everything set. So all I do every day, all day, is either guest speak, teach, or fulfill on coaching to help people.
Yeah. I love that. I really, really love that. And I wish we had time to just keep going on all the things because there's so much
We'll have
value
to do a
in what
part
you're saying.
two. Do a
Yes, we
part
definitely
two.
have to do a part two. So, say for example, someone is a coach or a consultant and they want to get to the 50K months. What are your top three tips for them to get started in getting from where they are now to that 50K month mark?
The 50K month mark is really having to I kind of it's a recap of what I was saying was the brand. Like once they get the brand right, they'll do what's called attractional marketing. They don't have to try so hard to market and sell. Once they really dial in their organic mastery, they can actually do paid ads. And then when you get a ROAS, so every let's say dollar that you put in, you can make $5 to $10 back. So, and the same thing goes with setters and closers. If you install a setter and a closer and you put five of them in place, you can literally triple your business like in 30 days, because they're setting, three times the amount of calls. You're closing three times the amount of business. So if you're closing $30,000, you'd be making 90,000, $100,000 a month.
Yeah.
So it's finding what works and then duplicating it, and then being able to, at the very end, the book end is, can you actually continue to provide amazing onboarding service, client experience in their journey, and give them such amazing results and transformation that, and it's called LTV, is they would never want to leave you, because the lifetime value is, hey, I just went through my 3 months with you and you got me amazing results. Let's say, they made $36,000 in 3 months and they started from scratch and they invested $10,000 into the program. They made a $26,000 profit and they covered the cost on their investment. So now they're like, okay, how do I do another 12 months with you? Then you have a continuity program where you can charge them like a monthly retainer or membership, which could be high ticket as well. It could be like $2,500 a month times 12 months to help you. And then now, because they're at 30, now that they're at $10,000, 15,000 months, they're going to scale to 20 to $50,000 months. So the $2,500 investment is a 10x return because they're making 25,000 now,
Yeah.
which is a no-brainer.
Love that. I love this. So much value. If you were to recommend one resource for people, what would that resource be?
Well, I think Alex Hormozy is well received, and this is the brand new one called the $100 million leads. The one that he released before, which my son is reading. I'm paying him $20 per business book that he reads. So he's trying to read one every single week so he can make a lot of money. Is $100 million offers. And again, right back to the beginning from brand and offer. You need to get it right there, because if you start with leads first and your offer and brand is not right, there's no point. So make sure that your offer is right. So $100 million offers by Alex Hormozi would be one that I would highly suggest. And when you do buy that, there is free video training that he offers because he gives first. And like I do with Sell More, Give More, Alex Hormozi is $100 million plus man a year, and he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, literally love that. That is so cool. Like, I really love that recommendation. Anyone who hasn't heard of Alex Hormozi, go check him out. He has amazing videos on YouTube, and also his partner also does some amazing stuff as well. So very cool. And where can people find you, Jay? Tell us all about where to locate you and what you're up to.
Yeah, they can find me on Facebook. They can find me on Instagram, Go Sales Ninja Pro. They can find me on YouTube. If you just look up Sales Ninja or Sales Ninja Pro, you'll be able to find me. My real name is Jay Lee, and I'm very reachable. I'm very personable. In my Strengths Finders, one of my top five is Relator, Positivity, Arranger, Maximizer, and Futurist. So I really love people. I really love serving, which is why when I was a pastor for 10 years, clearly I didn't do it for the money. And so now that I have a skill set that can help break people from, financial woe and generational poverty, I want to pay it forward to help transform as many lives as possible. So they can find me there.
And is there anything else you'd like to share with the audience today, Jay?
Yeah, there's a bunch of resources that people can go through. I mean, and there's two things that in my space that I can offer. One is the Sales Ninja Summit replay. If you're looking for the replays on wealth creation and how you can live your best life and that you love, there will be a replay link. And then my Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/Sales Ninja Community, is there's tons of resources in the guide section. There's tons of videos. There's live Q&As called Take My Money Hot Seat, with live reviews with real coaches, helping them get unstuck in their coaching business. So there's lots of resources and cheat sheets and guides and PDFs that you can find there in the Facebook group. So feel free to delve in there.
Oh, absolutely love that. And thank you so much for being here today, Jay. It's been so good. Everybody go check out Jay because he is phenomenal. As you can hear, he has so much knowledge on everything to do with high ticket sales for coaches and consultants. And we have literally just scratched the surface of his knowledge. So go check him out, guys. And thank you so much for being here, Jay.
Thank you for having me.